You're still looking for him?
It was only a very short period, but it was told to me by my agent, who said, is this Italian director who's looking for someone for a short scene in this film, The Passenger, and could you go down and see him? So I went down, and he was a very pleasant man, very charming, cultivated, exceedingly elegant, polite, and he said, well, you know, I don't quite know how I'm going to do this scene yet, but he had something there, I think it was a train set. And he said, well, perhaps you'll be, you know, playing with the train set. You know, English people like to play with toys and trains. And I said, it didn't seem very interesting to me, because then I was beginning to direct my own plays, and I had just a little bit of a visual eye. And I thought, man, so he said, what do you suggest? So I said, well, I have a cat, a beautiful tortoiseshell cat with only one ear because it had an operation and the ear didn't heal up properly, so it was a bit like a boxer's ear. Ah, yes, so that's good, a cat. Oh yeah, what did he look like? And I told him a very beautiful tortoiseshell with one ear. So he said, okay, you come tomorrow with your cat. Of course. So I went home. I had a home in Islington that time. And of course my cat was there, which I had for many, many years. And in the morning, I gathered him up, but he was a bit reluctant. And they should have just sent a car for me, and I could have put him in would have been done. But for some reason they didn't. I got a cab, and he was struggling, and I thought, why should I inflict this discomfort on my cat? So I had to let him down, because sometimes I rarely take my cat anywhere. He has total freedom of the house, of the garden, and he goes where he wants. And I think he panicked, because the only time I've taken the cat anywhere was to the vet, where he didn't have a good experience. But the vet was just about all right. So I came back, and he says, where's the cat? I forget what it is in Italian, dove è gatto, or whatever it is. I said he was making a great fuss, and then he ran, I couldn't catch him. Oh, that's a shame, because I was depending on the cat. So then I thought, oh, he's going to be disappointed in me, he'll never use me again. He may even cut the scene. No problem, we'll do something else. And then he said, well, here's the woman you have here. I didn't know what relationship she was to me. I knew nothing. I don't remember seeing a script. He just said, go and kiss her. I said, that's fine. I believe I knew her, I think, from a play, a little French play, a one actor, in Soho, just did it for a bit of fun. But so I didn't know her, so it made it easier. So he stood me against the wall, and I thought, well, we'd sit down and cuddle. No, he wanted a bit awkward. So I'm standing against the wall, and I kissed her. And then she kissed me back, and then we kissed each other, and then we spent all morning kissing. And then the afternoon we're still kissing, and our lips are beginning to get sore, and they're still kissing. So I thought, he's not quite happy because he's waiting for something to happen, something better, something different. But I remember doing many takes. But it was one of these short scenes which maybe normally might have been done by second unit, but he did it, and he was very specific with his crew, and if it wasn't quite right, he would tell them, "What are you doing? This is wrong. You've got to make it bigger, make it come to..." He was very specific and gave them instructions. And I remember them looking at him like he was the Godfather. "Yeah, okay, no problem. Do it, make it this." No. So he was very, very respected. You knew you were in the hands of a master, and I've worked with a few masters, and I always recognize them by their attitude. And their attitude is extreme casualness, very calm, very easy, like they're not even making a film, and extremely civilized and polite, and also concerned with you, hoping that the happier you are, the better the shot will be. And I noticed that the only other were the major. I've worked with some majors, but the other major, of course, I worked with Kubrick twice, and he had the same attitude, very calm, very casual, but and it had to be done very specific, and showed a little bit of irritation, but didn't go mad. Well, a good director is open because he likes to free will. He likes to improvise a bit. And if you do something, "Oh, that's interesting," he wouldn't have thought of it, because you can only think as for one person, and there's limits to how many different variations. But 2 people, 3 people, they'll come up with many more variations. And so, with Kubrick, I didn't have so much as in Barry Lyndon, fencing scene and gambling scene, but he allowed you to do it, and he wouldn't direct you at all. You have the lines, you do them. And woe betide if you don't remember the lines, because he says to some guy, he's a bit of a pathetic actor. He was good in it, but his attitude was pathetic because he didn't remember the lines. And he said to Kubrick, "Well, Stanley, I don't like to know the lines until I've blocked it." Some actors have that attitude. And he says, it's your job as an actor to learn lines. Whether I block it, haven't blocked it, will block it, may not block it, you learn the lines so we can change it, we can do whatever we want. "Oh, sorry, Stanley," yes. And that caused him. So they like, people like Kubrick and Antonioni, they like you to be, it's your job, you're the actor, and that also makes you feel good, because he says you're the actor, he endows you with some responsibility. So we kissed and did it, and then we came to the end, and I went home. And that was all. That's the last I saw of him. But I was in New York once, and it was opening in New York. It had opened, and it was doing no business. I passed by the cinema, and I went in, and I said to the person in the box office, "Has the film started?" She said, No, it's just about to start." "Oh, that's good." And she says, "You're in the film, I think, aren't you?" I said, "Yes, I am." And how could she remember? But she remembered me. Don't know why. From that one scene. So she said, "Yeah, no, have a complimentary ticket." And that was the first time I went in and saw it. And I thought it wasn't a bad scene.